Hello and welcome, my name is TyrionLanstr. Well folks, I'm really excited because we've recently had the release of Senelle's new weapon. This is a huge one because Senelle is of course one of the top 1000 Black Diamond type commanders. She has huge synergies for female setups, so this is going to be a real big impact new weapon for us to have in the game. We're going to be breaking down what Senelle's awakening ability is and then comparing it to the 0-star and the 4-star version of her weapons to see where the big spikes are, and just generally breaking down how this is going to impact the game at large. Okay, so without further ado, let's dive on in. Let's start by looking at Senelle's actual base awakening ability, and as you can see, it's the Battlefield Roses. Whenever your ally commanders cast 10 active army skills, it'll purify the debuffs for Senelle and her lineup, and increase the skill damage of all female commanders by 65%. This can stack up to 4 times. If you think 65% times 4, we're looking at 260 total potential skill damage increase for female commanders. So as you can see, that's pretty big. But 10 active army skills, that should take a little while to have happen. If you think about it, if you're lucky and you have a Salma and Layla setup right off the bat, you can definitely get those 5 guaranteed ones with Salma, but then you need to get a little bit of luck to get a few Layla hits to get some bonus ones from your commanders in order to get this triggered right off the bat. But it still is a huge ability for sure. So now let's take a look at her weapon. So looking at her weapon, we can go to the cavalry page and we go down to the green whirlwind bow. It looks really cool, really beautiful, and as you can see, like with the other, kind of top expensive weapons, it's giving a total of 30% cavalry attack, 7.5% total health. This is a little bit better even than the Enzo Salma weapons, and of course better than the free-to-play ones or semi-free-to-play ones. So this is on par with what we would expect. It is essentially the same tier as looking at, say, the Diana weapon for spears. But returning to Senelle, we can look at and see that her ability with no stars on it, the main change is that still you have 10 active army skills, but now it'll increase the skill damage by 75%, which again, stacking up to 4 times, that's going to be a total of 300% once it gets to full stacks. I think that this is one of the lesser, kind of bonuses for getting the weapon. It's just a 10% skill damage increase. Definitely not nothing. Like, don't get me wrong. I think that's still a very significant amount. But I think that a lot of the time when you get a weapon, it really greatly enhances the skill, and I don't see quite as much of that here. But looking at when we get the full stars preview, we can see that what has changed now is we've gone from 65% to 75%, now to 100% skill damage. And again, stacking up to 4 times, this means you can get up to 400% increase in the skill damage from your female commanders. Obviously, this, if you get it all the way to full 400% stacks, you're doing a crazy amount of damage. And again, if you think about it in contrast to what Senelle's skill was before at full stacks, we said it was just 65%, so 260% at full stacks there versus 400% here is a very, very clear difference. Obviously, you still get the doubled bonus of 60% cavalry attack and 15% total health, but I think most will agree that the main advantage here is, of course, in the actual awakening skill buff. So definitely significant. I think that the Green Whirlwind is as one would expect, a very powerful new weapon to have. But I think that it's not. It doesn't really change the skill in the ways that some of the other ones sometimes do. I think that in terms of how this is going to affect the game, though, my expectation is that this is going to really make the female cavalry setup that was already pretty strong even stronger. I think that this is going to really make it a powerful lineup that I think a lot of max accounts will consider whether they want to pivot back to, just now that you have Senelle in such a strong spot. Just to describe what I'm talking about here, if we go to let's say Layla, and we look at her best lineups. Well, as you can see, most of them are going to involve some of the other cavalry commanders and female setups. I think that Cersei obviously synergizes well. Daenerys obviously synergizes quite well. I'm actually surprised that the suggestion doesn't include her, but let's look at Salma. Yeah, Salma actually doesn't either. So the suggestions don't include it, but I think that most would agree that I would swap out Annie for Senelle pretty much any time, and I think that that's going to be a much stronger lineup. But as you can see, synergizing Salma and Layla with her is always going to help. Definitely, Daenerys and Cersei are going to be strong additions as well. But I think those are the main synergies that I would be looking at for using Senelle, and I think that those are pretty popular lineups anyway, and I would expect Senelle to only enhance them and make them even stronger. So with that, I hope you guys enjoyed this one. Like I said, I think that this is a very strong new weapon, and I'm excited to see it start to get used. But as we get new ones, we'll of course talk about the new ones whenever we get them. I hope you guys enjoyed this one, though, and until next time, my name is TyrionLanstr. I'll see you then.